All right, let's see. How much did YouTube pay me this month? Wait. Wait, what? For real? Wow. So every month I pay all my bills on my credit card, and then with a little bit of cash for tips and stuff like that. And then at the end of the month, I would draw around $2,500 per month. Sometimes a little bit more, sometimes a little bit less, depending on how much I spent. This month, I don't have to withdraw anything. Oh my God. Let me show you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I'm Linnell. I sold everything and now I live on cruise ships full time. After 2 months sailing on Carnival Venezia and a few days in Georgia for Thanksgiving, I am back to cruising. Today I'm on Royal Caribbean's Independence of the Seas. And I'm actually doing a back-to-back, a 5-day and a 4-day, and then I'm doing a side-to-side. As soon as I'm off of Independence, I'm moving over to Allure of the Seas. During these 2 weeks, I'm really just going to be catching up on some personal things and doing some relaxing. So if you're on this ship, you probably won't, if you're on these ships, you probably won't see me around. I've already sailed on Independence and Allure, both. I did take an island excursion. Can you tell where I went?
You ready?
Yes.
It's called Stand By Me.
Okay.
If you want to, you can stand by me. When the night has come, the land is dark, and the
I put together a video of that excursion, but much later. I'm resting this cruise. Today, I'm excited, as you can tell from the thumbnail, that I don't have to spend any of my own personal money this month because YouTube hooked me up. So I want to go over my monthly expenses and do that update for you, and also show you what my income was with YouTube. So let's go over to the laptop.
oh darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh darling, stand by me.
This month's calculation will be for 26 days only because last month's cruise ended on November 4th. So the third leg of my Venezia cruise started on November 4th. The cruise was $472.65, and I got back $200 of that as onboard credit, which I used towards gratuities, my bottled waters. I ordered some room service a couple times, and I had some outstanding crab legs and shrimp over on Half Moon Cay. For my optional non-cruise expenses, I got a gel manicure. Normally it costs $59, but I had a coupon for $50 off, so that was about $30 after I left an extra tip. I went to Vanessa, who she became my friend by the end of the cruise, and you'll see on my next leg, I went back to her again. I also splurged on an excursion in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Eventually, I'll make a video of that excursion so you can see that option before your next visit. The weather was bad, so the tour guide let us vote, and we opted on going to the mall instead of going to the beach. I took that time to get some wings and watch football over at Dave and Buster's. You know, living on ships, I don't really get to do that kind of thing, so I took advantage of it while everybody else was shopping. But that's what you do on vacation, right? After giving the tour guide and the driver a tip and stocking up on some chips and other snacks, my miscellaneous expenses for this leg of the cruise came to $171. I don't normally pay for the internet, but I did have some videos that I didn't get to load when I had the Wi-Fi on land, so I did purchase 2 days of internet on the ship. The total cost for these 11 days ended up just shy of $800. The last 9 days that I was on Venezia is much different than was much different than the other 4 legs because it was not a free cruise, but it was deeply discounted. You can see my total was $966, and I got $500 of that back as onboard credit. So the net cost of the cruise was $466. This was the first time that I canceled my gratuities because every venue that I ate in was a specialty restaurant and they had already included 18% gratuity in all the checks. I did tip my room attendant 40 bucks. And I tipped the two ladies at the omelet stations $20 each because I had an omelet almost every morning, and both of them were super friendly and they remember exactly how I like my omelet. So I never had to say anything except good morning and thank you. They would always say, the usual, you want your regular? So if you were on Venezia for the last four legs that I sailed, this is why you never saw me tell them what I wanted. Once again, I went to Vanessa at the spa and I just needed a touch up on my fingernails and I got a full gel pedicure. The regular price was $59 for my fingers, for the gel nails on my fingers, and $89 for gel on the pedicure. But she didn't charge me for my fingers. And y'all know me. I had another coupon for $50 off. After the extra tip that I gave her, my total cost for this visit was $65. Since I had such a large amount of onboard credit, I decided to splurge. First, I got the Wi-Fi for the entire cruise, mainly because I wanted to bulk load the YouTube videos because I knew that I didn't want to do anything for the Thanksgiving holiday, and I was super glad I did that in advance. I also decided to make some videos showing you the different dining options on board. So I went to every restaurant on the ship and I didn't pay for Fahrenheit 555, the steakhouse, because guest services gave that to me as a comp because of all the noise I had to endure from those guys making all that racket up on the Lido deck, waking me up at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Oh my goodness. But that dinner was good. You can see the total cost of the rest of the dining here came to $327, which that includes 18% gratuity on all of the restaurants, all of the dining except for Cherry on Top, the candy store. All the rest had 18%, including the empanada and pie. So this leg of the cruise, of course, was less days, but it was more money, and you can see there that the total was almost $1,200. After the cruise, I took the Carnival shuttle to the airport, which cost me $45. My flight from New Jersey to Miami was $46, and I stayed with family for the 5 days for the holiday. They didn't charge me, but I contributed $500 for what I considered my housing, my portion of Thanksgiving meal, all that good stuff. Because if I hadn't stayed with them, it would have cost me that much or probably more for a cruise or to stay in a hotel for those 5 days. Then after Thanksgiving, I flew from Atlanta to Miami. That cost me $61. And I was going to just tough it out at the airport that night because I was expecting to get there really late. And then I was going to head to the cruise in the morning, which ended up happening when I was in New Orleans. But we got to Miami early, so I decided to just grab some dinner and book a last minute hotel, which I paid dearly for. I don't recommend booking hotels at the last moment. It was 219. I had stayed at this hotel before. It was the Holiday Inn in Miami at the Miami airport. And I knew that I'd be able to take the shuttle, get a free shuttle from the airport to the hotel, and then a shuttle from the hotel to the cruise port for 12 bucks. So I decided, since I was already familiar with that hotel, even though it was $219 for one night, but honestly, I was tired and I know I should have booked in advance, so I didn't regret paying the 219. I did regret not booking it earlier, but it was still worth it for me. Overall, what I consider for my housing costs came to $1,457. You can see here is a list of all my total expenses for those 26 days, which came to almost $3,600. This is about $1,000 more than what I normally spend each month, but this is actually a good thing because, as I mentioned, YouTube income was unexpectedly higher than usual, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. Because it was higher, I intentionally increased my spending for the 261 in the internet expenses that I showed, the 327 to dine at all the restaurants on Venezia, And because my income was higher, I was able to make a higher donation. So I made $400 to two different churches that I attend virtually, that I watch online. So all of that accounts for the extra $1,000. I also spent about $100 more than I normally do in miscellaneous expenses because when I was in Georgia, I spent $131 at Walmart to replace some shorts and shirts and other miscellaneous clothing and just miscellaneous stuff. When I exclude the extra expenses that are related to YouTube, I actually went over my budget. But it's okay because I was anticipating for November, December, and January to be higher months due to the holidays. On the top left, you can see for the cruises, hotels, food, and transportation, the total was $2,079. The top middle box shows that in comparison, it was $10 less than last month. But I have to keep in mind that last month covered, if I remember correctly, it was 35 days last month, while this month only covers 26 days. The right side of the slide shows that even though I went over my budget goal of $65 per day because I spent $2,079 in just 26 days, which comes to $80 per day, the average expenses from when I started this full time, which was July 4th, to November 29th, I still have an average of $1,854 per month. So that's not too bad because I'm trying to keep an average of 2,000 per month on the cruise related expenses. And when I say for any newcomers, when I say cruise related expenses, so cruises, hotel, food, transportation, the items that you see in the top left box is what I consider my travel expenses. So that is what I'm trying to keep at $2,000 per month. Whereas my miscellaneous expenses, so my fixed expenses and anything extra that I do that's not included in those other four categories, I try to keep that under $500 a month. So my fixed expenses would be like my Netflix account, my cell phone, my health insurance, dental, all that good stuff. Miscellaneous would be any clothes, any excursions that I take, anytime I go play in the casino, anything like that. So all of that I'm trying to keep within $500 per month. So I didn't do too bad. The let's see. The colorful chart here in the middle, that's all my costs excluding the YouTube related expenses. So again, I try to keep that total under 2,500 a month as this is what I budget to withdraw from my savings and my investments each month. Sometimes it'll be higher, sometimes it'll be lower, but that's the average that I'm trying to aim for. You can see that I did go over by $100, but that's okay because next slide, YouTube paid for all those bills. Well, almost all of them. My total expenses, if we go back to the other slide, my total expenses with the YouTube related costs were 3,590 and YouTube paid me $3,463. So I only needed to cover $127 this month, which I already have on hand from savings in previous month. I don't keep my bank balance down to zero to exactly $2,500 per month. Of course not. There's some cushion in there. So I only needed to cover $127 because YouTube covered everything else. So when it's time for me to pay the credit card bills for November, which won't happen till December, I don't have to withdraw anything. So, of course, I'm super excited about that. Keep in mind that that is more than I made from YouTube over the last 3 months combined. Not only am I super excited that I'm monetized, but over the moon that YouTube has paid my bills for this entire month. I said all that to say if you are mature, that's the word I'm gonna use, mature, and you are thinking, is YouTube something I can do to supplement my income in some kind of way? I'm here to tell you, yes, it can. With tips from my son, who is a who is a full-time YouTuber, and from taking a class that walked me through step by step on how to create YouTube videos, how to load them onto YouTube. I am already seeing progress, so I want to share this resource with you if you are thinking about starting your own channel. The class I took is called YouTube After 40, and it was put together by Rob and Allie of Grounded Life. They have very simple, short classes that I was able to take at my own pace. I can take a day off, I can take a week off, I can take a month off, I can go back to it whenever I wanted to. And so, again, it's at my own pace and it's worked. They also have a community that is included in which we learn together, we ask each other questions, we encourage each other, we view each other's channels and ask for suggestions and improvements. We review any kind of issues, any struggles, any possible confusion, any resources that we all find, we share. And I obviously know that it is a phenomenal program because, which is why I wanted to share it with you today. I'll put a link in the description if you're interested. And of course, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or if you're hesitant if it can work for you. While you wait for the next video, check out these videos right here. I talk about living on a budget of $2,500 a month, traveling full time on cruise ships using discounts including casino deals, and finding unique ways to fund a stress-free, soft life. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next cruise.